Black myth Wukong, a third-person Souls-like game based around the ancient Chinese myth, The Journey to the West. What's the story? How does it play? We'll get into that today. The story. Although not much is known about the story of Black myth Wukong, we can trace the story back to the ancient Chinese myth about a monkey born from a rock who has magical powers. He isn't the nicest monkey in the mountain, being hot-headed and very arrogant, but he also cares for his fellow monkeys and does his best to protect them when, spoiler alert, the mountain is attacked by the armies of heaven. It is difficult to tell exactly which part of the Journey to the West myth is actually used as the game's narrative. There are sections of the game where you battle the Bull Demon King, which is near the beginning of the story. But there's also an entire cutscene featuring the Spider Demon Sisters, which is more towards the middle of the story. If this game is based around the beginning of the Journey to the West mythos, then it will most likely tell the story of how Wukong went from regular old magical monkey to being one of the most powerful demons in existence. Fearing his powers and looking to satiate his appetite for power and recognition, the Jade Emperor invites him to join the armies of heaven as a horse caretaker. After finding out the true intentions of his appointment to heaven, he revolts and declares war against all of heaven. Exactly how far they will go with the story is yet to be determined. I would imagine they will want a trilogy of sort if this first entry is successful. So if you've read the books or seen the countless cartoons, movies and TV shows, then you may know where they may end it. But hey, it might be a totally original story, and everything I said is just plain Bull Demon King. Presentation. The environment of Black myth Wukong looks incredible. There's so much detail in the environment, and if it isn't for Wukong running around, it almost looks real. Much of the world looks larger than life too, with a tree that seems to be holding up the sky with its branches. The enemies and demons in Black myth are a combination of people, animals, and plants. You have creatures that look like a stone human with a big head, root monsters that look like, well, tree roots, enemies that look like humanoid rats, and also mythical creatures like the Chinese-style dragons. They look kind of standard affair. With so many fantasy games being released over the years, you'd come to expect some enemies to look like others from other games. In saying that, some of the demons do look disgusting, like the Spider Demoness when she transforms into an actual giant spider. Soon Wukong himself looks awesome, taking more of a scraggy monkey look rather than the human look that some TV shows go for. Every hit of his sacred staff feels satisfying. You can really feel the power of hitting the enemies with it. The gameplay. The game world looks to be semi-open. You can travel from one place to another on foot along set paths. Along your travels, you'll be collecting materials, presumably to aid in crafting various consumables to be used during combat. Like most Souls-like games, you have checkpoints where you can rest and instantly recover your health. This is the same for Black myth Wukong in the form of a small altar which you can light a joystick on to activate it, allowing you to rest and recover. In terms of equipment, it seems like you can change the attachment of your staff and also the gourd that you're carrying around. In addition, you can change your body armor, gloves, and boots, and also what looks like a slot for headgear. I would imagine changing any of these out will affect your stats and resistance to various status ailments. It also seems like you can obtain loot from treasure boxes after you defeat bosses, and from the gameplay trailer, it looks like a new attachment for your staff. It also looks like you could collect journal entries as you encounter and defeat enemies, filling it up with much lore for you to peruse at your leisure. Now off to the combat. In the legends, soon Wukong has access to 72 transformations, and these ranges from animals to insects to even inanimate objects like a house. In the various gameplay trailers, it seems like you can transform into insects to get around enemies without raising any suspicion, to humanoid rats and a walking boulder that can deflect projectiles, or have porcupine spikes protruding out of it to hurt enemies that hit you. In addition, you have the power to multiply yourself either to increase your offensive capabilities or as a defensive strategy, allowing you to escape as your opponents are distracted by your clones. There's also the freeze ability where you can freeze your enemies for a limited amount of time, giving you the opportunity to beat their heads in with your staff. You can also heal yourself by drinking potions on the fly, which is quite standard in most Souls-like games. While you have the mob enemy which are quite easily dispatched, you will also be facing boss demons, and these will pose a challenge. You'll be parrying and dodging their attacks, looking for an opportunity to strike them. The bosses and mini-bosses are usually bigger than you in size, and they look very imposing as they leap at you trying to take your monkey head. They also seem to be very resilient as their health bar seems to deplete quite slowly. However, it does also seem like some bosses have weak spots that you need to attack and break, like the dragon in the gameplay trailer with some urns on its back emanating electricity. Breaking these deal massive damage to the dragon and ultimately be its downfall. Once you've done enough damage, you can seemingly charge your finishing move, which seems like an extremely powerful but slow charging interruptible attack, so you have to make sure to time your finishing moves or face the consequences of missing the opportunity entirely. First impressions. Although it is unclear where the story will go, growing up watching various cartoons and TV shows on the Monkey King gets me really excited for this game. I'm really keen to see what parts of the story will they actually feature in this game and how the heavenly warrior gods like Naja and Erlang Shen will look like. The combat looks really methodical and fun, like a faster paced Souls-like game. I just hope that I can parry attacks as I'm terrible at it in From Software's Sekiro, but great at it in Dark Souls 1 and 3. I'm also keen to see what other magical abilities are available in this game. Being able to play as the Monkey King is going to be a treat. I do have to say though, that I do not agree with the social views of the CEO of the developer Game Sciences. But this video is on the merits of the game itself, and I hope that it delivers as promised in the gameplay trailers upon release. There isn't a release date for Black Myth: Wukong as of November 2022, nor do we know what platforms it will be on, but what we do know is that the developers wish to release this game on major platforms. So what do you think about Black Myth: Wukong? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video.